Hi friends, so I'm here today because Amber just posted a video in response to the whole salty crab comment. Essentially, to make it fast, salty crab called Amberlynn Raglan Bleed. Amber thought it was a jab at her cancer, and so there was a question that she asked salty crab directly in her public live stream, and salty crab responded to it in the recent upload, and now Amberlynn is going to react. Let's just get to it.
Okay, you guys, so I actually just got out of the shower and I wasn't gonna do this. This was not
She wants to try so hard to convince us that she showers.
gonna be something that I was gonna do. And now that I have like a whole YouTube schedule going, I don't know where this would fit in my schedule. I want to get this out like now. So I don't normally do reactions to reaction channels, but I feel like I'm done like zipping my lip, you know? And when it comes to this topic, it's near and dear to me. Obviously, I had cancer. It was traumatizing. I genuinely thought I was gonna die. I had to do
So I have never been the one to speculate whether she did or did not have cancer. If she says she has cancer, I'm going to believe that she had cancer. I would hope somebody wouldn't lie about that. But I think it's also funny that she wanted so badly to get this up and she's all worried about whether or not it's going to fit into her new YouTube schedule. But when when she needed to respond to Beck, she waited 10 days or something like that to upload
invasive surgery at over 500 pounds because of my cancer. So for another YouTuber to create a nickname, Raglan Bleed, while already they're hypocritical, they're biased, I have made it very clear on my Instagram that that is fucked up. I've also made it very clear during public live streams and during my members only live streams. And this YouTuber just keeps going back and forth with me, trying to like twist the narrative of why they, named me Raglan Bleed when it's very obvious why they did it, and they're trying so hard to like turn it into like an okay nickname. So my friend sent me this message that you are seeing here, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna react to this.
Okay, so whoever this so-called friend is said, right through it all, I am just learning about who Salty Crab is, and I just watched her new video, and the first 5 minutes is still her talking about your cancer and bleeding. She has no human decency for you. You are absolutely right when you say these people see you as a character. I can't imagine having my life, love life, family, health, and private conversations dissected and shown to the world. But they're only making you stronger and they hate to see it. And Amberlynn responded saying, OMG, I choose not to watch Salty's new video because of the title. She is so biased, it is sick. But if she is mentioning my cancer, I think I am going to go listen real quick. And then the so-called friend states, she definitely talks about it. She even mentions the pics you posted to Snap of you bleeding and stuff, which I didn't even know about. She's trying to make a different narrative about why she called you that name.
First 5 minutes, because I want to know what they say, so let's do it. I want to be able to respond. By the way, this YouTuber does not show their face because they're too scared.
Now, I got some shit to talk about because there are plenty of reasons why people don't show their face on YouTube. It doesn't necessarily have to be because they're scared to show their face. Like, I choose for now to not show my face because I have a life outside of YouTube. Like, I have multiple jobs, I have a family, which my family and my friends don't even really know that I do this shit yet. So, like, I have people in my life who I want to protect from the internet. There's a bunch of reasons why people don't want to show their face other than the fact that they're just too scared.
So all you need to hear is their voice. Let's do it.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Happy Thursday. And before we get started today, I just want to talk a little bit about what happened last night, or should I say very early this morning. If you missed it, Amberlynn went live for about an hour and a half, and it was pretty much just a part two to the members only stream she did, because it was almost exactly the same thing. She was, in my opinion, very manic. She was crying.
Okay, so mental health shaming.
She's not mental health shaming because she called you manic. Those are the symptoms that you were exhibiting, and she was just stating that you were exhibiting those symptoms. She wasn't mental health shaming you.
1 second laughing, the next second acting very just above it all. While
I'm telling you, my moods genuinely are bouncing back and forth. Like, 1 minute I am crying, 1 minute I'm laughing, 1 minute I'm doing both at the same time. 1 minute I feel despair, 1 minute I feel hopeful. It is what it is. That's where I'm currently at right now with my mental health.
Still having to get digs in on people. Most of the things that she said was just her repeating what she said in the member stream. In my opinion,
A lot of people don't get to see, so I'm glad that I had that public live stream for people, because some people can't pay for my members only.
Then what is the point of having a members only live stream if you just regurgitate all of the information into a public live stream? Then that's not really fair to the people who do pay $10 every month.
I felt like she was doing that. She did the stream because she kind of wanted to get the attention off of Beck and Destiny's video from.
Definitely not. Beck and Destiny's video genuinely sucked.
You just think it sucked because it called you out on your crazy shit. Like, it called you out for being controlling and manipulative.
Screenshots from 9 years ago. I'm sorry I was hurt. I'm sorry I was desperate for attention.
9 years ago or not, you still exhibit the same level of control and manipulation. Doesn't matter. It's still an accurate representation of who you are now.
Earlier yesterday, she wanted to make everybody talk about her and what happened in the live stream. But honestly, like I said, it was just a repeat of the other night. Nothing really
And yet you watched it, didn't you?
new came out of the stream. And I don't think I'm going to cover it because as I was
Don't.
watching it, nothing really stood out to me. She was mostly just reading the nice comments people were leaving.
I think I know why they're actually talking about this, because in that live stream, I straight up asked Salty Crab a question, and I think they might be answering it right now. So I'm actually glad that I'm reacting to this. So let's hear the answer.
She was ranting about everybody who she doesn't like, crying over, like, girl, we saw it all before, and it was more entertaining in the member stream. But I do want to address one thing. And like I said before, I'm not going to do a back and forth with Amber Lynn.
But yet you are.
There's really no point to it. There's nothing
But yet you are.
You are continuing the back and forth as well.
I can say to her that's going to make her just all of a sudden be like, oh my gosh, you're right. I apologize.
Because you're not.
To
Hold on.
her just all of a sudden be like, oh my gosh, you're right. I apologize to anyone.
Honey buns, why would I apologize to you? Like, there's nothing to apologize to you for.
She's going to think she's right about everything until the end of
I'm not right about everything at all.
How do you believe that you aren't right about everything but yet have nothing to apologize for? Make it make sense, babe.
time. Even the things that she admits she did wrong, she has a reason for or an excuse. And it's usually blaming some.
I bet you're not perfect at all. I bet you made your fair share of mistakes. So it's like these people who want to like point their finger and be like, you're not perfect. Well, bro, you have several fingers pointed back at you because neither are you.
There's a difference though, because let's say that they are being criticized or they do have fingers pointed at them. Likely they don't apologize and follow it up with an excuse like you do.
Someone else or her BPD. But she did.
Oh, do you hear the mocking of her BPD? More mental health shaming.
While you are simultaneously making fun of Zachary Michael for his mental health.
Like, when does it end?
Ask me personally to tell her why in my video from almost a week ago, Amber, like you're still going on about it, but
And you still go on about things that happened years and years ago just because you need something to talk about because your whole channel is monetized based on talking about me. So yeah, I am going to talk about something that happened a week ago that genuinely hurt my feelings and my jaw was on the floor because I was like, making a joke out of my cancer is not okay.
she wanted me to talk about or tell her why I called that character Raglan Bleed. Why did I use the word bleed? First of all, it was a stupid joke.
It's not a stupid joke. So if you say something that offends someone and it genuinely hurts their feelings, you apologize, right? Isn't that what you're trying to teach your audience, supposedly?
Okay, if that is the case, then why have you not shown that kind of behavior as well? You want to criticize Salty Crab for not doing that, and yet simultaneously will exhibit those behaviors publicly. Why don't you apologize to the people who you've hurt and whose feelings have been hurt by you without an excuse?
Do it then. Or do you have too much ego, too much pride, afraid your audience is going to get mad at you?
It was a silly joke. I wanted a word that
Not a silly joke.
rhymed with your last name, so I used the word.
There's a lot of words that rhyme with read. I mean, I can think of one right now. Feed.
Okay, that one kind of hits, not gonna lie. She's funny when she wants to be.
That'd be a lot more funnier than bleed.
Bleed. But also, the joke was not about your cancer as
Yes, it was.
much as you try and say that it was. What it was really about was your laziness. The fact that you made the choice to not seek medical treatment when you knew that you should.
So, first of all, one of the very first things that I did when I was diagnosed with cancer, because I was told to do this, was join forums of other people who have the same cancer as me. And in doing that, I realized we all had one thing in common. 95% of us waited and waited and waited. We had these symptoms and we just waited months, or some of us waited years. Some people waited even longer than me to see a gynecologist. And there is multiple reasons for that. Fear, embarrassment, feeling ashamed, anxiety. Some of us then begin to believe like, okay, maybe actually these symptoms are normal, or actually it's really not that big of a deal. I did go to the doctor. I actually went to the ER a few times. And every single time I went, they told me I had all this blood and I had the pain in my back and it was due to a UTI, or it was...
Okay, now I do specifically remember her continuously going to the ER and them saying that it was just a UTI, but I don't think that she should really group herself in with this supposed 95% statistic because, one, not really an accurate statement, and two, there are also a lot of other contributing factors as to why those people might not have been able to go to the doctor that is not caused by anxiety or fear or embarrassment. There's also a lack of money, healthcare insurance issues. Like, there's so many other things. When she had the means and definitely the money, she had people around her that were supporting her and encouraging her to go to the gyno, and she still chose not to. I don't know, that's my opinion on it.
Was due to a bladder infection and all of these things, but that wasn't the case. Should I have gone to a gynecologist sooner? Sure. Does that make me lazy? Fuck no. Does that make anyone else who has also had uterine cancer and they waited a really long time to be seen until they were diagnosed, does that make them lazy? No.
The other hypothetical people, I'm sure, have a lot of different issues that are contributing to their unwillingness to go to a gyno. Well, in this case with Amber, it literally comes down to just the fact that she didn't go because there was no money issues. It wasn't like she didn't have the means to go. Like, she had somebody who would drive her. It's not like she had conflicting work schedules like some people might have. Like, she had the means to go, and I think that's where Salty Crab is coming from when Salty Crab states that she was just too lazy to go. So I don't know. I really just don't like the fact that she's grouping herself in with these other people who had similar experiences, because I'm sure that it really isn't just anxiety that prevented those other people from going. Her circumstance is so different in comparison to a large majority of the population.
Do they deserve to have a nickname like that? No.
Because you knew that, oh well, someone else will just come and clean up this mess for me.
Clean up this mess?
And when I say that you expected everyone to clean things up around you, you know exactly what I mean.
If you're talking about my blood, I made sure that was nowhere. There was blood nowhere. Did you guys ever remember that mattress that was out in the living room? That was one of the reasons it was in the living room, because I was scared to get blood anywhere. I never got it anywhere. If I wasn't wearing a pad, I was wearing a rag. I was very anal about that because it was embarrassing. Like, I was always bleeding. Sometimes it was heavier than other times, but it was genuinely an awful experience and it was very embarrassing. I never made Beck do it. Who else was there? Oh, are you speaking about my roommates? Because I had roommates? Hell no, that is so embarrassing. That was 2 guys. Like, are you joking? I handled all of...
Let's be real, with all the shit that's come out about her recently, I wouldn't put it past her. Yes, it's an assumption that Salty Crab is making, but also, given her track record, it's something that I think a lot of us thought about once we heard about the whole washcloth thing.
Of that by myself. Just because I was having all these symptoms, it didn't make me a selfish or disrespectful person. I wasn't gonna sit there and make a mess. Like, what? The fact that you're even insinuating that is hectic. And that's for a lack of a better word.
You're the one who said you had to use rags instead of using feminine products. But who washed those rags, Amber?
Me. What?
I don't get it. You can wash your bloody ones, but you can't wash your shitty ones?
Changed those rags, Amber?
Me? What is happening? So you called me Raglan Bleed because you're assuming that Beck washed my rags. I genuinely think this person needs help. Like, more help than me. What?
Amber, who probably had to scrub those rags out in this.
No one scrubbed a rag in a sink because of my cancer symptoms.
Notice the manipulation in language. She says, no one scrubbed rags in the sink because of my cancer. But this would be the perfect time to acknowledge the shitty rags, right? But she doesn't. Say that Beck did not have to scrub her bloody rags and instead only for some reason had to scrub her shit rags. That's like the manipulation in language where she says, I did the bloody ones. But like, why are you not acknowledging the shit ones that Beck had to do? It's like a precaution that she's taking, like if something more comes out regarding the shitty washcloths, or if she ever chooses to address the shitty washcloths, she can say, I never said in my video that they didn't scrub my shitty rags. I only said that I was in charge of my bloody rags.
That never happened.
Sink, Amber. Bet it wasn't you, and you were just fine with
It was nobody.
them having to do it day after day,
It was nobody.
week after week, month after month, year after year. You intentionally did not go to the doctor
I didn't intentionally not go to the doctor.
for that.
Am I fucking tripping, or like did she just admit she didn't go to the doctor intentionally? Like she specifically said because of like anxiety and fear, embarrassment, and then now she's saying I didn't intentionally not go. Like yes, you went multiple times for UTI and was misdiagnosed, but you also just said that you didn't go because of embarrassment and fear and anxiety.
When other times you would go to the ER for cellulitis.
Yes, because cellulitis is an infection that if it gets in your blood, you can die.
Cancer can also kill you, Amber.
So yeah, I did go to the ER for that. So I can be on antibiotics because that's the only way that cellulitis can go away. So I'm sorry.
Or the time that you needed stitches in your hand.
Yes, I literally still have that scar. But yes, I needed stitches. I'm sorry. I stabbed myself in the hand with a knife.
This wasn't a case where you had a fear of the doctor.
This is genuinely like you invalidating my experience. But you know what? I don't expect anything less, anything more from you.
Had no problems going to the ER. But in this situation, you decided to ignore it. You even admitted that you took an online quiz to see what was wrong rather than seeing a doctor. And even then, when the quiz told you what was probably wrong, it still took you another month before you went to the doctor.
Yeah, out of fear. And I also kept lying to myself.
What the fuck did I just say? She literally said she did not intentionally not go to the doctor. But then now here she's saying, I waited a month because I was too scared to go. Am I fucking tripping? She's already contradicting herself.
Because my whole life, like even in high school, I had irregular periods. Doctors always told me it was because of my weight. Like when you're really overweight and when you're really underweight, your periods are very irregular. So I did keep lying to myself. I was like, this is happening because of your weight. So the more I lied to myself, the more I made it seem.
Having irregular periods is very different from having a constant flow of blood for 2 years. And again, like it's just another contradiction. And like, I don't want to lean into the speculation because like I said, if she tells me she has cancer, I'm not going to dissect all of that and assume or try to prove that she is wrong or that she's lying about that diagnosis.
And when you're really underweight, your periods are very irregular. So I did keep lying to myself. I was like,
it just doesn't make sense, right? Like to say for years, she has said that she constantly free bled for 2 years. And then now she's saying, I was just convincing myself then it was just irregular periods. When having irregular periods is much different than having a constant drip. It's very contradictory, and I don't want to lean into the speculation, but I just want to point out that this is why people have a hard time believing you, Amber, about your cancer, because there are so many contradictions. And even in this 16-minute long video, we're 11 minutes in, and she's already contradicted herself multiple times. So yes, while it is a sensitive topic, and you don't want people to critique it, but you do make this public, and you have made this public for years and been open about it. So that means that when people find these contradictions, they're going to discuss it. They're going to pick it apart. And I'm sorry that you do have to deal with people not believing that you did have cancer, but I just want to point out that this is why, like, there are contradictions in your stories, and that makes you an unreliable source.
This is happening because of your weight. So the more I lied to myself, the more I made it seem like, oh, it's just because of my weight. So it still doesn't give you the right to make fun of the situation.
And when you did finally go to the doctor, you took pictures of your underwear and the crotch of your pants.
I did. Actually, it was Beck who took those pictures. We were absolutely shocked with how much blood I was losing. Like, I was losing so much blood, and that was only the beginning of it, like the pictures that we did take, because then it got worse and worse. At that point, I was having to be rushed into an emergency DNC. I was losing so much blood that, like, I could have died. But yes, Beck had their phone and they were taking pictures because it was genuinely so shocking. And I remember Beck was texting my mom and, like, keeping my mom updated. And during that, Beck sent those photos to my mom, because it's like, when you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, Amber Lynn is like gushing blood. You know, you imagine something, but you don't imagine like how bad it actually was.
And the floor and all the blood everywhere, and you put them on Snapchat for your viewers to see.
Yes, I did put them on Snapchat. So this was during the time where I was like, I cannot believe that people think I am lying about cancer. And it was quite a few people. Like, when Nikocado Avocado uploaded that video insinuating that I lied about cancer, like, I was being harassed more than ever, and like, it made my mental health so bad.
That's another thing that I want to point out, is that people have speculated whether or not she did have cancer and criticized her stories for a long time, for years. So why suddenly somebody calls you one nickname, whatever you want to call it, somebody calls you one nickname and you go and do all of this? But why Salty Crab specifically did it trigger you?
I ended up filming a whole video, like, bawling my eyes out. Like, I showed my actual medical paperwork, which was really embarrassing. And in that same, like, impulsive state of mind, I ended up posting those pictures on Snapchat as a way to be like, I did go through this. This is exactly what happened to me. Do I regret doing that? No. But it is very pathetic that I even had to do that, that it actually got to that level, that I had to show something so private. It honestly feels demeaning. And this person right here is like making fun of me because I did that. That's really, really sad.
I don't think necessarily you did have to post those medical documents, or let alone those pictures of your blood everywhere. But I do understand the fact that you just want somebody to believe you. I just don't think that those really should have made it to the internet. And you also say that you don't regret posting those to the internet. I don't know, maybe this just isn't the way that Amber Lynn thinks. But to me, if I had something very personal going on and I shared it on the internet and people were criticizing me and saying that it didn't happen or accusing me of lying, I just wouldn't address it, because I know personally, I know deep down that I am telling the truth, and those are experiences that I lived through.
See, but you have a problem with me making a silly joke using the word bleed? Rip.
They don't have anything to do with each other.
Really, Amber? It's also come out that you ruin people's personal items
because what?
Because of the bleeding.
I never ruined anyone's personal items because of the bleeding.
Another manipulation of language. We know that, like, Beck said that Amber ruined Eric's mother's washcloths, right? And obviously that's what Salty Crab is insinuating. And she spins it and says, well, I never ruined it because of my bleeding. Yes, but we know that you did ruin it because of your shit. So what the fuck is the difference? You still ruined somebody's personal property.
Nothing at all. Zero. Zippo. Nada.
You made your ex drag a mattress in and out of the living room for you to sit on it so you wouldn't make a...
Oh, you see that, like, head nod and that nasty fucking face you made, like, hell yeah, I fucking did that. Ooh, it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
A mess.
That is actually the truth. I would have done it for Beck. When you're in a relationship and you think that you love the person, it's supposed to be a safe, comforting.
Now, girl, you know damn well your big back ass would not be lugging a fucking mattress nowhere for Beck. Like, for fuck's sake, you wouldn't even let them go play video games with their friends. You really think that you're gonna drag a mattress out every time they want to watch TV? Fuck no, you wouldn't. It'd be the same shit as that one time where Beck got those teeth pulled and Beck was like, man, I'm in so much pain. I'm so hungry. Baby, why don't you go make yourself something to eat? Like, get your big back ass up and go fucking make something for Beck then.
Caring environment. Think for 2 seconds. I'm pretty sure you would have dragged the mattress into the living room as well if you wanted to hang out with your partner and you knew what they were experiencing. I think when people imagine my bleeding, I think they're imagining like Carrie. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie. It wasn't like that until I was rushed to the ER. Then it was very much like that. But on every...
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure she was talking about how she had heavy bleeding. I mean, in the past. Like, she talked about in the past that she had very heavy bleeding for several years, constantly. And so, like, now she's minimizing it and saying that it wasn't like that. It was just a light to medium flow, right? And then it wasn't heavy until I had to be rushed to the ER. And again, I really, really, really want to be sympathetic for this topic because I understand how hard it must have been for her during this time. But I just can't help but think that shit could have been so different had she just used some critical thinking skills.
Every day, like an everyday basis, it wasn't like that. I did not get blood anywhere. So let me keep hearing why you're making fun of my cancer. Let's keep going with your excuse because still, I don't get it.
And did you do anything about that? Did you try and get it looked at for at least 2 years?
Like I said, I went to the ER for it and I went to the doctor and they sent me home with a UTI and antibiotics.
No, because you thought...
I get that she was misdiagnosed, but I cannot help but think I would be getting another opinion. I had all of these symptoms, and if I was doing what she was doing and looking up her symptoms and taking a test and all that shit, right, and it was coming back as uterine cancer, I would be calling my primary care physician and saying I need to be recommended to a gyno. Like, if I was in her situation and I didn't have one.
Well, someone else will clean it up. I don't feel like...
No one cleaned up anything. There was nothing to clean up.
And that's another thing that I'm just really confused about, and which only further confuses the viewers, is she has said for so long that it was constant heavy bleeding, and then now she was saying it wasn't even enough to like bleed through anything until she went up to the doctor. And yet this whole thing, right, this whole salty crab drama is started because Amber came out and said that her flow was so heavy that she had to use rags because feminine products weren't working, right? And then now here she's saying it wasn't really that heavy, it was just heavy once I got to the ER. And I think this is what feeds into the speculation.
But somehow that's my fault for using a word, for saying the word bleed.
You're so dense. If you actually think that I'm upset because you used a word, you're making fun of me. You're making fun of an experience that altered my whole life.
Really?
Now, I don't want to be fucked up, but did it really alter your life? Because you said it yourself that the cancer diagnosis was caused by your weight, and yet where have you gone from that? You have not taken control of your life. So did it really change your life and the way that you view life? Because you've continued the same habits as you did pre-cancer.
And before you fix your mouth to call me an ableist again,
you are,
and try and say that your medical issues were due to your size,
they are.
You sure had no problem getting to Lexington.
What? During that era of my life, I went to Lexington maybe once. I'm finding it hard to understand Like, what that has to do with...
So you're telling me in 2 years you went to Lexington once? So you're telling me in 2 years that you had these cancer symptoms, you only went to Lexington once to go get Cheesecake Factory? I don't know. I'm just really not buying it. And I'm sure there's somebody out there who will dig up all of the times that she did go to Lexington during the time that she had stated she had cancer symptoms.
You making fun of my cancer. Like, you're reaching so far that I am in fear you're going to pull a muscle. So calm down, please.
7 times to go to the Cheesecake Factory. So how was there a problem getting to the doctor? Maybe if the gynecologist would have served orange chicken, you would have gotten checked out sooner. But
there it is. You're ableist, girl. Just admit it. You're fatphobic. You're biased. You lack empathy and sympathy. And you can't admit when you're wrong.
that's all you're getting from me, Amber. Now.
Rules for me, but not for thee.
Isn't that saying something that the ankle says all the time? I'm pretty sure it's the ankle, but I thought Miss Girl doesn't watch ankle. She only watches Salty Crab and Zachary Michael. So that's gonna be it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.